Death Valley Days.
Now.
Yeah, you shoot pretty good for your age.
Well, how good do you want it?
It ain't what I want, Frank. It's what you want.
I want a job, Heck.
You live to cuss me if you get the best I got to give.
And you've been cussed before.
Yeah. Well, $1 a day, 6 cents a mile when you're on official business, $2 per man you bring in, and serving papers 50 cents. No way to get rich.
Well, that can wait. Look, Heck, I know that you need a deputy, and you know that I'm available. So what does that leave to settle before I start?
Just one thing, Frank. A man puts on a badge, he's marked for life.
You wear the brand real well.
Never did me any particular good.
Well, I'd sure hate to call you a liar.
Well, it wouldn't help our friendship. Huh?
Yeah, all right. Now, look, Heck, what you're trying to tell me is, I might regret it if the law says do this, and I'd sooner do that.
Duty is a terrible thing. Sometimes doing it just eats your insides out. And there comes a time, it always comes, when you got no choice. And all you can hope for is maybe, don't bet on it. Maybe somebody will say, he's seen his duty and he done it.
It wouldn't look bad on a tombstone.
No, I guess not. All right. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to uphold the laws of the United States, the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, so help you God.
I do.
Well, then there be no further objections. I hereby appoint you, Frank Dalton, Deputy Federal Marshal.
Well, thanks, Heck. You know, you might be the one that's going to regret this.
I'll take my chances.
Well, what are you doing back here?
Why, Sam, I'm the new deputy marshal.
Deputy Marshal? You?
Well, that's what this says.
How did you work that?
Heck Thomas worked it.
I thought he had better sense.
Is that what you intend to say to folks around town?
What I say is my business.
Yeah, you go ahead and say that, Sam. I'll have one of the same. How you doing, Charlie?
All right, I guess. When did you go in the lawman business?
What you started?
You gonna be located around here?
Yeah, for a little while anyway.
Well, that'll be real nice for you and Emmy Johnson. No offense, you know. I just happen to remember that when you was here before, you and her was kind of took with each other.
Yeah. Give another drink.
You going out to the Johnson place?
Well, might. Why?
Oh, I just wondered.
About what?
This fella, Albert Jones, is sure peculiar about him. A man can't just disappear.
Well, it's been done, Charlie.
Yeah, but... maybe I better not say any more. She'd probably tell you anyhow.
Who will tell me what?
Emmy Johnson. This fella, Jones, had some sort of a deal with Emmy's pa. He's staying there, like him and George Johnson was partners.
And you say he disappeared?
That's what George Johnson claims.
How about another drink, Charlie? Hmm?
I couldn't believe it was you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been too long. Are you going to stay this time?
Well, that all depends.
Dang windmill pump ain't worth the powder to... So it's you.
How are you, Mr. Johnson?
You got anything cold to drink?
I just made some lemonade. Can I get you a glass?
Don't bother. He won't be here long enough to drink it.
Oh, I haven't seen Frank in nearly 2 years.
You saw too much of him then. Hanging around every night. I don't want that starting again.
Look, Mr. Johnson, I don't want to cause any trouble.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. You can prove it by leaving right now.
All right. Oh, by the way, Mr. Johnson, I understand a fellow by the name of Albert Jones was staying out here.
He was, but he's gone.
What about him?
Well, there's talk in town that he just up and vanished.
Nothing odd about it. He just got on his horse and left. Good riddance. Couldn't trust him any further than you could throw a steer. You ought to know about that, Emmy.
Why should she know?
Never mind. None of your butt in anyhow.
Frank.
I've been talking to folks around town about this Albert Jones who was staying out at George Johnson's farm. It's kind of strange how he left town all of a sudden.
I already told you. I only talked to him once in my life.
What'd you talk about?
He wanted to know how much I'd give him for his horse.
This the horse?
Yep.
Looks like you made a deal.
I give him $50. Mostly for the saddle.
Well, then how'd he leave town?
We got a stage goes through here twice a week. You ever think of asking at the stagecoach office?
No, I hadn't.
And you call yourself a low man.
Mr. Moore? Mr. Moore? Mr. Moore!
Stage leaves 3 o'clock Tuesdays and Fridays. Oh, you're the new lawman. You going somewheres?
No, I just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh.
Now, this will just take a minute. Did you ever know a fellow by the name of Albert Jones?
No.
Oh, well, he stayed out there with George Johnson until a couple of weeks ago. Did you ever see him around?
Yeah.
Well, you said you said you didn't know him.
No. Know what he looks like, but I don't know him personal. There's a difference.
Oh. Did he buy a ticket to leave on the stage?
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Oh, what stage did he leave on?
Didn't.
Didn't? You mean he didn't leave?
No. Bought a ticket, never used it. Waste of money, if you ask me.
Good night, Mr. Moore. Oh, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson.
What is it now?
Well, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Albert Jones.
Why?
Well, let's just say I'm interested.
Look, Dalton, that tin badge on you don't fool me for a minute. Now, you don't give a hoot about Al Jones. You're just looking for an excuse to hang around Emmy.
Well, it won't hurt you or her for you to answer me some questions.
I'll tell you nothing. And if I catch you near my daughter, I'll tear that tin badge off of you. Now, you keep away from me. And from her.
I'm glad Paul wasn't home when you came by.
Well, it wasn't just happenstance, Emmy. I saw him in town getting supplies, and I figured that'd keep him busy for a while.
You haven't changed a bit.
Is this all right?
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, here, let me help you with that.
Thank you. What is it, Frank? Can't you talk to me anymore?
Well, yes, I do have something to say, but...
Tell me.
Well, a minute ago you said that I haven't changed much. Well, I don't know about that, except for one thing, Emmy. The way I feel about you, that hasn't changed at all. But I know that you never do anything unless your father gave it his blessing.
I just can't.
Well, he's not the Almighty. He could be wrong. Emmy, your father said that Jones rode out of town on a horse. I found out that he didn't even have a horse.
Why do you keep asking me about him?
It's my job.
Well, all right. You say he didn't have a horse? Maybe he took the stage.
Yes, he could have. In fact, he bought a ticket for it.
Well, then.
But he didn't show up for the trip that day, nor any other day.
Well, I don't care how he went as long as he's gone.
How do you mean that?
He was always making remarks. Whenever I went into a room where he was, he never stopped watching me. I feel his eyes on me all the time.
Well, if he was that kind of a man, your father wouldn't have kept him around.
They were in business together.
Well, I never knew your father was a businessman.
They were going to buy up a lot of cattle down in Texas. Take it to Dodge to sell. There's supposed to be a lot of money in it.
Did your father know anything about cattle?
No. But Mr. Jones did. I'll put up the money.
Emmy, did they make any money on their partnership?
Deal never went through. They had a terrible argument. Mr. Jones went away.
Emmy, what was your father doing the night that Jones disappeared?
What has Paul got to do with it?
Maybe nothing.
Maybe nothing. What does that mean?
Well, I told you, I'm just trying to find out
Look, you leave Paul alone. He's got enough worries, losing the money on the cattle deal and all.
I told you, Emmy, I've got a job to do, like it or not.
Well, I don't like your job. I don't like you much anymore.
Yes, you do. You more than like me, Emmy. And I'm more than like you.
I want to go home.
All right.
Thanks for the beer, Frank. Really cut the dust. Come on, boy. We got a long ways to go.
I was kind of hoping you'd stick around and handle this thing.
Well, I told you, Frank, I got to be up north in 2 days. Besides, you've got enough to go on. Chances are Jones is dead and Johnson killed him. All you have to do is prove it.
Oh, yeah, but how?
Well, that's your red wagon. You know, the first thing you have to learn about being a lawman, shooting straight ain't anywhere near enough. Got to learn to think straight, too.
Now, look, Hick, I've been looking around for 3 days. You know there's 1,000 square miles out there? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Well, chances are you using your saddle instead of your head.
All right, I guess I'm too dumb to be a deputy.
But you're stuck with it. So long, Frank.
So long, Hick.
Your boss didn't stay long, did he?
Nope. Just long enough to remind me that this wasn't put here to keep my hat off my ears.
Hi, Frank. I ain't seen you around much lately.
I'm busy right now, Charlie.
Well, you don't look like it.
I'm thinking.
Huh? Well, what about?
Right now, how to get rid of you.
Oh. I thought we was friends. You know, some folks say that they're your friends, but when they don't want you around, you can just whistle up Dry River.
Oh, wait a minute, Charlie.
What for?
For that drink you want.
Now you are talking friendship.
Charlie, you get out of town much, like out on the prairie?
Heck no. Why should I? And there ain't nothing out there I got any use for.
Well, there might be something out there I could use. Well, now that's going to cost you, Charlie.
Hey, Mr. Treeland! Mr. Treeland!
Mr. Taylor?
Something terrible has happened. I got to find the deputy. Where is he? Where's Frank Dalton? I've got to talk to him.
For Pete's sake, Charlie, calm down.
I've got to find Frank Dalton.
Well, he ain't here. He rode out early this morning and said he won't be back till tomorrow. Now, what's this all about?
I can't tell nobody but the law.
Well, what's the law got to do with it?
You'd know if you saw what I saw.
And what did you see?
Somebody that somebody murdered.
Come on, Emmy. We gotta get home.
All right. Whoever it is in here, you better come out where I can see you. With your hands up.
Quiet, Emmy, it's me.
I was afraid it was you.
Afraid?
The way you feel about Pa. I thought you'd be keeping an eye on him. Oh, Frank, why can't you let him alone? He didn't kill Albert Jones.
Somebody did. I have to find out who and why.
Frank, listen to me. I've been thinking ever since that day I got mad at you. I was wrong. I can't let Pa go on running my life forever. Oh, Frank, we love each other. Let's get married. Get away from here. Now.
Emmy, we're not the kind to lie to each other. Are you ready to marry me? Or are you just trying to save your father?
Frank, I love you. But how can we ever be happy together if you're responsible for what happens to him?
Then you know it's true.
I don't know. It's just that ever since we talked, I keep remembering things he said, the way he's acted. I haven't slept in a week, worrying and wondering.
And you will worry and wonder the rest of your life unless the truth comes out now.
Why does it have to be now or ever? Who cares about Albert Jones? Frank, we love each other. That's all that counts. You don't owe anything to that badge Heck Thomas pinned on you. Well, where's he going? Did you know this was going to happen? Is that why you came here?
I was hoping it wouldn't happen.
Frank, what about us?
I'm sorry, Emmy.
Stop it.
I don't have to kill you. Why'd you do it? Is he trying to cheat you out of that cattle drive money?
Never was any cattle drive. What he was after was every dime I saved in 30 years.
Why didn't you go to law about it?
Law? There's no law in this territory.
That's where you're wrong.
Why? Because you came along with that badge pinned on your vest? You'd never been able to prove a thing on me if a drunken fool hadn't led you to it.
He didn't lead me to it, Mr. Johnson. You did. If you hadn't, there's 3 of us that might have been better off. Just might have been. Let's go.
We'll get him to Fort Smith in time for the next court session.
Here, Paul. You forgot your pipe.
You sure you don't want to change your mind about that transfer?
No, I've been here too long.
All right, Frank. Keep up the good work when you get there.
Death Valley Days.
Now. Yeah, you shoot pretty good for your age.
Well, how good do you want it?
It ain't what I want, Frank. It's what you want.
I want a job, Heck.
You live to cuss me if you get the best I got to give.
And you've been cussed before.
Yeah. Well, $1 a day, 6 cents a mile when you're on official business, $2 per man you bring in, and serving papers 50 cents. No way to get rich.
Well, that can wait. Look, Heck, I know that you need a deputy, and you know that I'm available. So what does that leave to settle before I start?
Just one thing, Frank. A man puts on a badge, he's marked for life.
You wear the brand real well.
Never did me any particular good.
Well, I'd sure hate to call you a liar.
Well, it wouldn't help our friendship. Huh?
Yeah, all right. Now, look, Heck, what you're trying to tell me is, I might regret it if the law says do this, and I'd sooner do that.
Duty is a terrible thing. Sometimes doing it just eats your insides out. And there comes a time, it always comes, when you got no choice. And all you can hope for is maybe, don't bet on it. Maybe somebody will say, he's seen his duty and he done it.
It wouldn't look bad on a tombstone.
No, I guess not. All right. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to uphold the laws of the United States, the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, to help you God.
I do.
Well, then there be no further objections. I hereby appoint you, Frank Dalton, Deputy Federal Marshal.
Well, thanks, Heck. You know, you might be the one that's going to regret this.
I'll take my chances.